Good morning, everybody. You're tuned into Crackcore. I hope you're having a lovely day so far. Thank you for tuning in today. So today we're going to be talking about a pretty touchy subject at the minute. I'm not going to lie, it's pretty touchy. It's quite sensitive. And, it's my firm belief that the touchy subjects are those that you need to actually talk about. Because otherwise, how else are they ever going to get solved? That goes for any subject, anything that's kind of like imposing on life in general. But with the subjects that are really touchy, I think it's even more so. Because there's a reason why those subjects are so touchy. And that's because, if something is that sensitive, then it's obviously a bigger problem than perhaps something that's not so sensitive. So, if it causes such a knee-jerk reaction whenever you talk about it, then there's obviously a lot of emotion surrounding it. And I think if anybody knows anything about psychology, the closer you are to a subject or to a problem, the more of the the more severe the emotional response. So, point made. So basically, today I think that we need to address the situation of toxic masculinity, and in my opinion, how this reflects on. Oh, I thought that pothole was going to be bigger than that. How this reflects on the the feminist movement. I don't know if that's what it's called, but because I do believe that toxic masculinity, or at least the modern, that whoever keyed the phrase is quite possibly from that ilk, from that kind of camp, so to speak. Because it's derogatory, isn't it? It's basically saying that masculinity is toxic. I mean, that's what it says, isn't it? Toxic masculinity. And at the same time, if you look on the internet and you look at these subjects, since memes are the zeitgeist nowadays, that's our current zeitgeist. We express ourselves through memes. And by memes, I mean, in the sense of the word, a picture with some lettering next to it. Which, when you understand what a meme actually is, I suppose it's the visual form of it. So anyway, we see a lot of memes on the internet surrounding this, and some of these relate to men being offended or fragile towards the notion that people are attacking masculinity. But I'm going to have to say, number one, if somebody's being attacked for something that they simply are, well then, does that not give them right to be hurt by that or offended? Do men not have feelings at this point? Because it's also put out there that men ought to show their feelings. I said this in another video, that, men have got feelings too, man. And you can't have it both ways. So men are going to have an emotional response of hurt towards being attacked. En masse. Now also, it's having an emotional response, feeling hurt is one thing. But if somebody's being attacked, does that not give them the right to fight back in some way? Because, I'm not talking about the Will Smith fiasco here. In my opinion, let's just say, let's keep it serious. I mean, because what a fucking shit show that was. They're all actors, guys. They're actors. It was staged, man. Chris Rock leaned forward into it. You know, it's funny, somebody mentioned online that it looked similar to a slap that wrestlers give one another. I'll be honest with you. What I thought when I saw it was that very thing. Not that it looked like a wrestler's slap, but that this is like wrestling now. It's become a show like wrestling. You've got the villains, you know what they're called, the heels, you know, and then you've got the good guys. And it's just a fucking drama being played out now. And if society has reached the point where in order to remain engaged, the tactic that works is, you know, wrestling tactics. What does that say for society, man? Because it's entertainment, isn't it? Wrestling is entertainment, ultimately. I liked it when I was young. To be honest, I could still watch it now. It's fun to watch. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek. You know? It's not taking itself too seriously. Which is why I can't believe that this has happened and people are fucking gobbling it up like it's cake, man. But anyway, we digress. You know, like I said, let's keep it serious here because we're talking about the very sensitive issue of toxic masculinity. Now, ultimately, actually, that does have a key point in all of this because now everybody is complaining about Will Smith. You know, his actions, you know. And I suppose, you know, at this point in the argument, it's regardless, you know, it doesn't matter whether or not it was staged. My personal opinion is that it is. However, you know, regardless of any of that, it does create a response in society nonetheless because there are people that do believe it. Now, those that believe it are all having this debate now on, you know, whether or not it was right what he did. Now, it is, again, it's a sign of our times that people are saying that Will Smith is in the wrong for defending his wife's honour, and, you know, slating those that said that Will Smith's actions were in the right, and also now applauding the villain, you know, applauding fucking Chris Rock, quite simply because, or at least not applauding, but overlooking that which he did. Quite simply now because Will Smith has apologised for his actions. You know, fuck it, it's just a sitcom. Not a sitcom, sorry, it's a drama, isn't it? With a bit of sitcom in there. But you see, this is the thing about the toxic masculinity. You're not allowed now to stand up and say, you know, and fucking say to somebody, you've messed up, mate. You can't stand up for yourself anymore. The system nowadays is quite literally built to applaud those that are in the wrong and to protect those that are in the wrong. Because now Chris Rock is seen as the good guy. And everybody like him. You see, this is the thing. These people are there to ensnare your brain, to control the way you think, to divert your perceptions into whatever it is they want you to perceive. That's what they're there for. That's what film is about. That's definitely what music is about. All right? It's to get you to accept what it is that's right or wrong. So it stands to reason then that our society is now of this thought process that is like, well, it's okay for somebody to do something if somebody does something in return. What the hell? If somebody retaliates, well, now you're no longer in the wrong. I mean, a retaliation is just that. Okay, it's a reaction to something that was done wrong to you. Okay? So, where does that person get off? Because how is it now that that's forgotten? Quite simply because somebody reacted to it. The reaction is because of that person. And people go, well, you know, it's violence. It shouldn't be accepted. Now, whether or not that's the case, that's the way that he, you know, like I said, for argument's sake, it's irrelevant whether or not it was staged. It's my opinion it is. But that's the way that he chose to react. That was the level of reaction he believed that situation required. Okay? Because that's who he is. And that's how much he cares about his wife's honour. And in my opinion, should somebody have said that out here in the real world, made a joke about something that clearly distresses this woman, because in my opinion, you know, it stands to reason that a woman's hair is part of her identity. It's part of her femininity. You start taking that away and then taking the mick out of the fact that she's having to shave it off due to a medical condition. You add all of that in there, and I personally believe that he's lucky he only got a slap. You know? Shit's disgusting, man. You can't go around expecting to say and do however you fucking please, man. Alright? You can't just go around saying and doing whatever you want and expect to have carte blanche and to have no repercussions. And then when somebody reacts, you play the victim now. And somebody who reacts now has to apologise, therefore nullifying anything you did. Oh, I'm sorry for your actions. This is a twisted society, but you see, this is what is happening with all of this toxic masculinity stuff. It's a zeitgeist. Ultimately, nowadays, you will find that the feminist movement is pushing for the destruction of most things that are masculine. Male, you know, male in strength. Now, that points the finger, does it not? That's saying that, no, this isn't anybody else's responsibility other than men. So therefore, men have to be held accountable, and it's all men's fault. We need to destroy everything that it is to be a man. You know, we need to take away anything that is masculine in society because that's toxic. Now, I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that men shouldn't take responsibility. I'm an advocate of responsibility. I am. If you know my content on here, then you will know that that's who I am. I'm always fucking spouting off about it. So I do believe that men need to take responsibility for their actions. However, it's a two-way street now, isn't it? All right, it's a two-way street. Respect demands respect. Honour demands honour. So on and so forth. This isn't about stripping down anything that's masculine. It is about highlighting that which is being done wrong. However, it's also about taking responsibility as a woman. Now, this is the point where a lot of people will probably become enraged. But you see, it's part of it, and it needs to be accepted, because simply pointing the finger of blame will get nobody anywhere. You know, it's that double negative. Who cares? But anyway, ultimately, in my opinion, okay, women are divine feminine, just like you've got divine masculine here. Everything in the universe is about balance. Everything is about balance, all right? Everything is required for everything to work. Otherwise, this, you know, the natural system fails. So, women are divine. They ought to be treated as queens, in my opinion, all right? Whatever a woman wants, you should try and accommodate it. As a man, you should try and accommodate it, and then you should go the extra mile. You know, this is the way it should be. Women, in my opinion, ought to demand that. They ought to respect themselves enough to say, well, yes, I do want somebody to open the door for me. I do want somebody to offer me their seat. I do want somebody to offer me their coat if it's cold. Because why shouldn't you? You're worthy of it, are you not? You bear children, you know? Like, you are the divine feminine. Why shouldn't you be treated as such? But you see, the problem is this. The feminist movement is telling you that that strips you of your femininity. This is the contradiction in the whole argument. The feminist movement tells you that by allowing a man to pay for dinner, by allowing a man to open a door for you, etc., this robs you of who you are as a woman. Now, I have to beg to differ here. I'm going to have to beg to differ and completely disagree. Because I believe it is this which actually upholds the notion of that divine feminine, because you are now being treated as such. And it's not wrong for you to expect to be treated nice. It's not wrong for you to expect to be treated well. This is how you should be treated. And if anybody's got a problem with that, then they are the problem. Now, there's a big thing at the minute about these unsolicited, perverse pictures being sent around. And I agree. That's wrong. That's like flashing, man. That's basically like some fucking perverted person stood on the corner of the fucking, you know, whatever street with a long raincoat on, flashing their naked body, you know, at people, at unassuming passers-by. I'm sure you get some people that are like, oh, hey, look, you know, and they enjoy it. But for the most part, people don't really want to be flashed. And especially when it's on your fucking phone. Most of the time, these pictures get saved automatically, depending on what your settings are on your phone. And unsolicited, perverse pictures are wrong. But again, men have lowered their standards in this respect, in my opinion. I'm not blaming women for this. I'm not. Men need to fucking stand up and say that that is wrong. It's disgusting. But at the same time, like I've said, it's a two-way street. Men and women have to work in unison, because this is the natural order of things. Okay? It's the natural order of things. And ultimately, if women raise their standards to the point where they now no longer accept anything other than being treated as a queen, is it then therefore not apparent then that men will have to raise their standards to meet that? I dare say that would be the case. So to simply say this is men's fault and men need to make the changes in order for women to have their femininity back, well then, is that not saying that men hold the power altogether? Is it not more powerful as a woman to actually make the change required to change the situation, being in control of the situation, simply by using your divine femininity to create a change in society? Is that not being a powerful woman? Forcing men to raise their standards simply because you will accept nothing less. Is that not divine feminine in its most powerful form? You know, because if you... I'm going to have to go over this one more time. If you raise your standards to such a degree that men can now no longer get away with sitting around, scratching their arse, fucking getting away with God knows what, and sending fucking unsolicited fucking dick pics. If they no longer are able to get away with all of this because women don't make the fucking make it available, well then where does the power shift to? In the hands of the women. But you see, the feminist movement is telling you that you shouldn't accept being treated as a queen. quite simply because that takes away your femininity. Because, oh no, you know, women are powerful. They don't need a man to open the door. No, of course you don't. But you don't need them to. Fair enough. But if they do, you're not having to do it yourself. All right? You're not having to do things that you can quite happily do for yourself. Is this not somebody... It's tantamount to laying out a red carpet for you. Laying rose petals on the floor in front of you as you walk. Having a man be at your beck and call and treat you as the divine, which is what you are. This is... This is the way it ought to be. This is the natural way, man. You know? You should make men work for their meals, man. The feminist movement is telling you to give away that which empowers you in order to be empowered as a woman. No. What it is doing is it's getting you to lower your standards to such a degree that society comes crumbling down, because through you lowering your standards, men now no longer have to have any. Because let me tell you this, men's standards with regards to women are directly linked to the way that women demand those standards. And it's as simple as that. You know, I mean, argue with me all you want. All I'm saying here is empower yourselves and you will therefore have the power. Demand better standards for yourselves and you will therefore be in control of the situation. And is that not all powerful? Is that not fucking taking control? Is that not being an all powerful divine female? You know, women, you hold the key, man. All right, and that isn't me trying to shift blame, because it's not about blame, it's about responsibility. All right, and where responsibility lies, blame seems to become less apparent here. Because once responsibility is positive action, blame is negative inaction. All right? Now, I feel as though I've bashed the point quite enough here. There are a few other points I could make, but I think leaving on this note is the right place to leave it. So I'm going to wish love and peace to all things everywhere. And of course, I'm going to wish peace on earth. And I'm going to say power to all of you women out there. And don't let this fucking hypocritical feminist agenda take away what is rightfully yours, which is your divinity as a woman, your divine femininity, your natural divine femininity. Empower yourselves with it, realize who you are and what you are, and demand no less of a standard, and watch the world change around you. It's Crackle signing off. Thank you for being here with me, and what else can I say but peace.